Throughout this time of the season, everyone's favorite thing to do is to make their own mock drafts and share who they think their team will select. That does sound like fun, but for this video, I thought it'd be interesting to go around and look at some random people's mock drafts for the Detroit Lions, see who they think the Lions should take, who do they have them taking, who do they have getting taken before the Lions. Now, obviously, nobody knows what anyone is going to actually do, who anyone is going to actually take, and the draft is still over a month away. There's a lot of things that can still change, and everyone that's sharing their mock drafts and their opinions on who the Lions should draft, or any team for that matter, has no idea what they're talking about. I have no idea what I'm talking about. We're all just sharing our best guesses and our opinions, and it's all just in good fun. With that said, nobody knows what the head office is thinking, what they're gonna do, what their plan is, and if you see something that you think is a bit crazy or you don't agree with, or if I show your mock draft, let's just not spread any hate. Share your opinion, but we don't need to hate on people. I say that because I know this community can be extremely toxic, and I'm sure a lot of you have experienced that before, but good thing I'm over here making sure I spread zero hate. Let's start. Fuck the Packers. Starting off with the first mock, we got a trade. We got the Lions trading with the Panthers. The Panthers get the 6th pick, and the Lions get the 9th and 2 second-round picks. I honestly could see this one happening, and I really like this trade because in this case, it allows Detroit to still retain Devon Witherspoon, which if you don't already know, I am a huge fan of. So if the Lions can trade with the Panthers, get 2 second-round picks, and still retain Devon Witherspoon, I'm happy. Also, regarding trades, trying to predict a trade, I feel like it's way harder than trying to predict who your team is going to draft. So I feel like it's nearly impossible to predict who's going to trade and for what. And I've seen some mock drafts having the Detroit Lions trade up into the top 5, which I honestly don't think will happen whatsoever. I feel like a trade with Carolina is a lot more likely, but in the end, nobody knows. I feel like that's even harder to predict. I just don't see the Lions trading up from above their 6th pick in the draft. I don't see them trading up at all into the top 5. I don't think a top 5 pick has been traded recently at all. It's not very common. To end the tangent, the Lions trading up just doesn't seem very likely. This person's 2nd pick in the draft is Kalijah Kancey, defensive tackle out of Pitt. I think this pick may cause some debate, as there's a ton of debate around the 2nd pick in the draft for the Lions. Originally, I saw a lot of Kancey in the 2nd round, but he just seems to continue to rise up on the draft boards, and now I've seen a lot of Devon Witherspoon at 1 for the Lions and then Kancey at 2. I think this would be a pretty solid pick. The Lions obviously need help on the defensive line. Kancey is looking better and better. He just set the record for the 40 time for defensive tackle with a 4.67. He seems extremely fast for being 281 pounds, and he seems like he would instantly improve the Lions defensive line, be good against the run, and the defense is what the Lions need. But for the 2nd pick in the draft, I also wouldn't be opposed for taking running back Robinson out of Texas. We'll probably see a draft with that as well. Honestly, I really like this draft, as it's Witherspoon at 1 and another solid defensive player at 2. Now moving into the 2nd round, this guy has the Lions taking with their 3rd pick in the draft linebacker Trenton Simpson, which I honestly think is a solid pick and really is a solid 3-pick lineup. With the 1st pick, he has the Lions taking Witherspoon, instantly bumping up the defense there, bumping up the coverage. Witherspoon's a solid corner, more than solid, honestly. Then Kancey improving that run defense. Lions need a threat on the D line, and Kancey could be that. And then linebacker Trenton Simpson, another area of defense, just improving the defense in 3 different areas. Seems like a really good way for the Lions to start their draft. If this is how the draft goes, I'd be extremely happy. Or if it was Christian Gonzalez instead of Witherspoon, I'd still be pretty happy. Just improving that defense, I think, should be the main concern. And my last note from this one, at the very bottom, Jake Moody. I've seen a lot of mocks take Jake Moody. I don't know if that's just because they're Michigan fans. I do think Moody is a solid kicker. It'd be interesting to see if the Lions actually take a kicker like Moody, or if they just re-sign Badgley, because I don't think Badgley was that bad. He wasn't bad. He was good. He was very consistent, didn't miss an extra point, and has a decent leg. For the 2nd mock we're looking at, we got a crazy one that has 0% chance of happening because it has 3 trades. First, the Lions trade with the Cardinals to get the 3rd pick in the draft and take Will Anderson. Sure, that'd be great, but it won't happen. I don't think there's any chance of Will Anderson getting to the Detroit Lions. I think there's just 0 chance. I think the Bears might even just keep the 1st pick so they can still get Anderson if they can't work out a trade. And there's another trade, this one with the Seahawks, and he has the Lions taking Joey Porter Jr. I don't think this is the worst one. Everyone knows I'm on the Witherspoon bus here. even the Gonzalez bus over Joey Porter in my opinion. But for the 20th pick in the draft, I don't think Witherspoon or Gonzalez, I think neither of them are probably going to be available, so I think Joey Porter would be fine there. In reality, if this actually happened and the Lions started off with Will Anderson and Joey Porter, is that the worst thing in the world? I guess an insane defensive player and a pretty solid corner. And then again, we have Trenton Simpson popping up again in the second round. If he's available in the second round, he seems like a pretty solid pick for the Lions. So overall, this one's not going to happen. We all know it. The Lions aren't going to get Will Anderson. But if it did happen, Will Anderson, Joey Porter, Trenton, again, a solid 3 defensive player start, I wouldn't be opposed to this. Also, I forgot to mention the third trade, Jalen Ramsey for 2 second-round picks. I don't think Jalen Ramsey's going to Detroit, though. For our next mock, we have another trade, again, with the Cardinals to jump up to take Jalen Carter. And then for the second pick, Brian Breeze. And honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of this mock. First off, I don't think the Lions will be trading up. Second off, I don't really like Brian Breeze that much. I'm not the biggest fan of him. And I don't like the Lions taking 2 defensive line players right in a row. And for the Lions' third pick in this draft, in the third round, cornerback Garrett Williams, who I don't think is the worst pick in the third round. If he's available in the third round, I can see it happening, but definitely not the second for me. The next mock again starts off with Devon Witherspoon, which I really like this, and then it goes Lucas Van Ness, edge rusher for the Lions' second pick in the draft, which I could see happening. Lucas Van Ness seems like he'd be a pretty good threat paired up with Aiden Hutchinson, but I'd honestly like the Lions to take a defensive line player with their second pick. And then with the Lions' third pick in the draft, we're seeing Garrett Williams again instead of Trenton Simpson. I don't think Garrett Williams is a bad pick in the situation, but I'd just rather see someone more like Trenton Simpson, a different position, just to diversify what positions you're taking, because you're already taking Witherspoon with your first pick. The next mock has another trade with the Panthers dropping back to the 9th pick, and the Lions still get Devon Witherspoon, so it looks like a strong start to this one. But then there's another trade, the Lions trading up to the 10th pick in the draft, and then they take Christian Gonzalez. Now I think this one is a bit far-fetched. The Lions 2 trades, the 9th and 10th pick, and taking 2 cornerbacks, but it would be pretty strong as it would instantly improve the Lions coverage. And then at the end, he has the Lions trading with Jalen Ramsey, so it sounds like we're going to get a lot of cornerbacks if this happens. Next mock draft, the Lions jumping back in the draft to the 8th pick, and this is where it's the first quarterback one we've gotten. The Lions take Anthony Richardson with their first pick in the 2023 draft. That'd be crazy if this happened. I'm sorry, but I think the Lions have a 0% chance to take a quarterback in the first round unless like CJ Stroud is available at like 18 or 6 or something, I don't know. And then Brian Brees, again, improving that defensive line. Not the worst pick, but not my favorite. I don't think this one's going to happen. This is probably my least favorite mock draft so far. The Lions still at least get Garrett Williams here in this one. This next one has the Lions trading up with Arizona to take CJ Stroud. Why are the Lions traded up to take CJ Stroud when we could stay back and get some solid corners and maybe draft a quarterback in the later rounds for backup? I don't know. This one also has the Lions taking Jackson Smith, their second first-round pick, so nah. Now for the next mock, this is the question I find the most interesting. If CJ Stroud is available at 6, let's say the Bears take Will Anderson, Texans Bryce Young, Jalen Carter goes to the Cardinals, Anthony Richardson goes to the Colts, CJ Stroud's available, what do the Lions do? I can see the Lions being put into this situation. If the Panthers don't jump to number 1, the Bears most likely will just stay at number 1 and take Will Anderson. I think it's an interesting conversation to have. If Levis or Stroud are available, should the Lions take one of them at 6? My answer, no. I think the Lions should stick to Devon Witherspoon no matter who is available at 6, unless it's Will Anderson. With the Lions' second pick, we have Kancey again. The third pick, Andre Carter, a good edge rusher, would be nice. Anyone paired up with Aiden Hutchinson would be an improvement and help the defense. The problem is, you see how drafting a quarterback totally messes up the lineup you could possibly have. Imagine having Witherspoon, Kancey, and Simpson. That's an insane lineup for defense, but instead you're not able to obtain that. This next one is different from the ones we've had before. What if Seattle at pick 5 takes Witherspoon? The Lions take Tyree Wilson? That doesn't seem like that bad of an exchange. And with our third pick, we still get our cornerback Garrett Williams. It's not Witherspoon or even Gonzalez, but I guess we're still getting a corner. I would rather have one of the first 2 picks, because in this one we're taking a guard and I don't like that pick. Besides Bijan Robinson Addison with our second pick in the draft. I think our first 3 picks should be primarily all defensive players. That's just my opinion though, and I don't give out my opinion on this channel. And speaking of no bias, if you don't know, I'm a State fan, and I really like the Lions taking Jaden Reed here. A solid wide receiver. I think he has a ton of talent, and I'd love to see him in a Lions uniform. Maybe not in the 3rd round, maybe like 4th or 5th, but still, gotta love Jaden Reed. For the next mock, Witherspoon, Cansey, Carter. I really like that lineup, whether it's Simpson or Carter. I like that Witherspoon, Cansey, another defensive player. The next one, Witherspoon again, Cansey again. I'm liking it. And then a guard. We do got to fill that one missing spot in the offensive line, but I'm not sure we want to do it in the first 3 picks. But if there's talent there, we know the Lions are going to take it. So I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. This one has the Lions taking Gonzalez with the 6th pick in the draft, meaning is Witherspoon gone? What happened there? If Witherspoon's gone, then I guess Gonzalez isn't the worst thing there. But if Witherspoon's there, I'd rather take Witherspoon over Gonzalez. Then he has the Lions taking a quarterback and a lot more 3 trades in there. It's a bit much in my opinion. And for our final mock draft we're looking at today, we had the Lions trading up for Jalen Carter. Okay, and then we have the Lions taking Addison, wide receiver. Not a fan of this one just because trading up, I don't think that'll happen. And then taking a wide receiver when there's defensive players on the board. We need a corner. And I can't end the video after critiquing and judging everyone's mock draft without sharing at least one of my own to get critiqued or judged. So this is one I quick whipped up. Witherspoon at 1, Cansey at 2. I like those. Carter at 3. Simpson wasn't available, but I still like Carter a lot, even just as much if not more. And then I took Garrett Williams with the 4th pick of the draft. I don't think this one will happen. Wasn't too sure on it, to be honest. I tossed in Williams there. I don't think it's the worst pick in the world, but I don't think it's the best one. So yeah, share your opinions on that. Anyway, that is going to be the end of this video. I appreciate all the support recently. If you watch me daily or consistently, which I'm sure, I hope there's a few of you out there, I really appreciate you. I'm back on the daily upload starting today. I apologize about the small break. If you enjoy my content, I would really appreciate if you could like and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. And once again, thanks for watching.